With the sim racing scene growing at a faster rate than ever, there are way more brands and options to choose from when getting into sim racing. With that said, these are some of the options I would recommend depending on your budget. Starting off with a budget of €250, to my knowledge there still isn't really any options that topple the Logitech offerings of the G29 and G920. These wheelbases have been around a really long time. In fact, they were released in 2015, so it is kind of crazy to think that there isn't any better options in this price range yet. The Logitech is a gear driven wheelbase with a maximum torque output of 2 Newton meters. It also comes bundled with a set of 3 pedals, so for the price you really do get decent bang for your buck. The Logitech G Hub software for PC is decent enough, and both the G29 and G920 work flawlessly with their respective consoles, the G29 being for PlayStation and the G920 for Xbox. You can also pick one up for substantially cheaper than the new price of €250 if you are willing to buy a second-hand version, with listings sometimes cropping up for as low as €100 to €150. Reliability is also exceptional with these wheelbases, so you won't have to worry about longevity. You may also see some of the options from PXN suggested in this price range from time to time, but they have too many reliability and compatibility issues for me to confidently recommend one right now, at least until I was able to test one and decide for myself. If I had a budget of around €500, option 1 would probably be the Fanatec CSL Direct Drive Ready to Race bundle. This bundle currently offers fantastic value, coming in at €400, and if you don't already know, a direct drive provides much faster, quieter and smoother force feedback than the gear driven G29 or G920. So if you can afford to spend the extra money, I would really recommend the step up to a direct drive. You definitely won't regret it. The pedals included with the CSL DD bundle are a great starting point. At this price point though, you will miss out on a load cell pedal. However, you can purchase the load cell brake as an add-on later on. Not only that, but the wheelbase is also upgradable to 8 Newton meters with a beefier power supply that you can get from Fanatec at a later date. As the budget won't allow for a dedicated cockpit at this stage, I would also pick up the optional desk clamp and use the wheelbase desk mounted until you can potentially upgrade to a cockpit. Getting both the Fanatec CSL DD bundle and the additional desk clamp would set you back around €455 at current pricing. Option 2 in the €500 category would be the Moza R5 bundle. This is once again a 5 Newton meters wheelbase and comes included with a steering wheel and a 2-pedal setup. The force feedback quality of this and the Fanatec CSL Direct Drive are pretty much on par, and both of these options are by far the most popular, budget-friendly direct drive choices for getting into sim racing. Both brands have well-established ecosystems, so upgrades or add-ons down the line are definitely an option. Taking a pretty big step up in budget to €1,250, I would keep both wheelbase bundles from the €500 category as the main options, and I would focus on potentially the most important component in any serious sim racing setup, the cockpit. For this, I would make the Next Level Racing GT Elite Lite my main contender, which comes in at €600. In my setup, I have the non-light version, which is mostly the same and it's fantastic. To my knowledge, the only differences between the GT Elite Lite and the normal GT Elite are you don't get these adjustable seat brackets, and you also don't get the shifter arm and plate that come with the normal GT Elite. With that said though, it's definitely still an amazing option, being strong and rigid enough to support any wheelbase or pedals you could possibly throw at it, and allowing a ton of adjustability on pretty much every front while doing so. However, no cockpit is complete without a seat, and once again, after trying quite a few, I can highly recommend my current seat from Next Level Racing, the Next Level Racing ERS 3. Once again, just like the cockpit, this seat is absolutely solid and does not flex. It features a super secure dual reclining system that, once set to your solid position, is completely locked in. For this seat, there are 3 different options when it comes to materials. There's the €279 PU leather version, the PU leather and suede version that's €20 more, which is the version that I have, and finally there's the fabric and sim aero mesh edition, also priced at €300. So €400 for the Fanatec CSL Ready to Race bundle, €600 for the cockpit, and €280 for the PU leather seat. That comes in just over budget at €1,280. But if you use code EMPOWER25, you'll get a 5% discount depending on what region you're from. So at a discount of €44, that comes to a grand total of €1,236. You can also check the description for other affiliate links or discount codes. And then on to our final budget of €3,000. If you're looking for a pretty high-end setup, this is probably what I would go for. Let's start it off with the cockpit. At this budget, I would upgrade from the GT Elite Lite to the normal GT Elite, the one that I have, just to have the extra adjustability on the seat and to also gain the shifter arm and plate. I feel like for the extra €100, you do get quite a lot. However, as stated previously, I still think the GT Elite Lite is a great buy. Onto the wheelbase then, and I would probably go for one of SimMagic's brand new offerings in the Evo range. In this new range, they've released 3 different wheelbases: the Alpha Evo Sport, which is 9 Newton meters, the Alpha Evo, which is 12 Newton meters, and lastly the Alpha Evo Pro, which provides 18 Newton meters of torque. I would go middle of the road here and pick up the 12 Newton meter Alpha Evo. On to choosing a wheel then for your wheelbase. This really depends on what type of racing you're planning on doing, but a top choice here for me would be the Simagic GT Neo. While I haven't tried this wheel myself yet, it is one of the best value wheels available, and people were literally flocking to buy this wheel when it came out, even if they didn't necessarily have a Simagic wheelbase, which tells you a lot. The pedals are where I would really allocate a lot of my budget to, and with that in mind, there are quite a lot of options you could go for here. If you wanted an all Simagic team, you could go for the Simagic P1000 or P2000, depending on certain preferences like load cell or hydraulic, and whether you wanted haptic feedback or not. However, there are some fantastic and possibly even better pedal sets that you could get, such as the VRS Direct Force Pros, the Conspit CPP lights, or some of the Hoistingfeld options. To be honest, there are more options now in this area than I could possibly begin to list in this video, which just goes to show how good of a place sim racing is currently in. If you did go for a full Simagic lineup with the Alpha Evo wheelbase, it would currently set you back around €670. Something like the P1000 RS modular hydraulic pedal set is €640 right now. The Next Level Racing GT Elite cockpit comes in at €700, and once you add a seat, it pretty much comes in at $1,000. So for that setup, that would bring our running total to €2,310. This actually leaves a sizable amount of the budget left over, and there's a reason why I did that. From here, you have a lot of different ways you could go. If you did want to pick up something like the VRS pedals, they come in at €238 more than the Simagic pedals at €878. The total would then be €2,548. With this budget of €3,000, without sacrificing quality on things like the wheelbase, pedals, or rig, that also leaves enough to pick up other components, such as a second steering wheel, say if you want a GT style and a round steering wheel, or if you want to pick up a handbrake and a shifter either. It really depends on your preferences here for the final part of the budget, so for that reason, I'll leave the remainder of the budget to aspects of your choosing. With either setup I mentioned in this budget, I could have actually set the budget at €2,500, as once you factor in discounts with my affiliate links in the description, both setups would actually be under the €2,500 mark. But I get the feeling a lot of people going for this sort of equipment are probably going to be picking up some other peripherals also. Anyway, I really hope this helps you decide on what sim racing gear to go for. Please share your experience with any sim racing gear that you have down in the comments, and please don't forget to like and subscribe also. See you in the next one, guys.